class. I am Mr. Dunhart Escabugwas, your statistics and probability teacher. Today, we are going to discuss a new lesson. But before that, let us play a game. This game is called the Wheel of Fortune. Are you familiar with the game Wheel of Fortune? Yes. The Wheel of Fortune consists of a spinning wheel with a selector. It is divided into pies of different colors, and each color corresponds to a prize. To get the prize, the player will spin the wheel at random. When the wheel stops from rotating, the prize is determined by the color that coincides with the selector. Are you now ready for our game this morning? Okay, so I am now going to draw a name from the box. Okay, the first student to spin the wheel and answer a question is Janela. Okay, so Janela, let us now spin the wheel. Okay, stop. The color that the selector coincided is yellow. So, you will be answering the first question with a corresponding price of 10 pesos. Your question is, am I discrete or continuous? The number of books in the library, is it discrete or continuous? Yes, correct. It is discrete because you can count the books in the library. Okay, let's go back to the spinning wheel. The next student to answer a question is Alfred J. Alfred, let us now spin the wheel. Okay, stop. The selector corresponds to color blue. Your price corresponds to 30 pesos. So, what is question number 3? Okay, am I discrete or continuous? The time needed to finish an exam. Yes, you are right. It is continuous. You'll be given the prize of 30 pesos. Congratulations. Let us now move to our next activity. This is called the guess the word. Okay? So I have here red boxes. We are going to fill in this with the letter of a word that is connected to our lesson. So all you have to do is to choose a letter that might be in this array of red boxes. But before that, you are given a clue or a hint. This is the riddle. Life is uncertain and unpredictable, but it defines me as a variable. What word is referred or the answer of this riddle? Can you guess? Okay, you have no idea. Let us try. So, can you choose a letter from these letters from A to Z? Yes, let us try letter A. Yes, A is in the array of red boxes. So A is in the second box. What would be the word that answers this riddle? Anna, do you have any guess? Okay, so let us try. What letter do you think is inside the red box? N? Okay, so can you guess now the word or the answer to the riddle? Not yet? Yes, we can choose another letter. Let us have letter D. Yes, letter D is in the red boxes. Okay, so what do you think is the word? Take note of the certain words that serve as clue for you to answer the question. We have the word uncertain, unpredictable, and it is also a variable. Yes, Erica, very good. This is called the random variable. So let us spell the random. R-A-N-D. We have O and we have M. Very good. You guessed the word right. The answer to our riddle is random. So today, we are going to explore random variables. These are our objectives this morning. So at the end of the lesson, you are expected to first, find the possible values of a random variable, apply random variable in real life situation, and recognize the importance of random variable. Okay? So let us have an experiment. This is called tossing a coin. So in our experiment, suppose we are going to toss a pair of coin thrice. Okay? So we are all familiar with a coin. Yeah, right? So we have the front and the back side of the coin, or we call that in statistics the head and the tail. So I have here a 5 peso coin. So we have here the front. The front has the head of a person, and at the back we have the logo of Banco Central. Okay, so the outcomes for each trial are shown below. So this is the outcomes. Let us say in our first trial, in our first toss, we have here in the first column, we have the first toss. So we have here, let us say in the first toss we have head, in the second toss we have tail, and the third toss we have the tail. So what would be the outcome for our trial 1 in the experiment? So we have head, tail, and tail represented by the letters H, T, and T. Okay, suppose in trial 2, we arrive with first toss head, second toss head, and third toss head. So all heads would be the outcome for trial 2. Have we exhausted all possible outcomes, or how do we get the complete list of these possible outcomes? Of course, we have not exhausted all the possible outcomes, or we have not yet listed all the possible outcomes. You're all familiar with the tree diagram, right? So our strategy is to make a tree diagram for us to list all the possible outcomes in a given experiment. So suppose in the first outcome, or the first value or variable, we have head. Then you have tail. Suppose we have two. We have two possible outcomes for the first toss. Diba? We have head and tail. For the second toss, we have also two outcomes, head and tail. We are going to pair the given H and T, or head and tail, to the first outcome, that is tail. So we have head, then head, or we can head or tail. Another way around, we have tail and head, or all tails. Then, because we are tossing the coin thrice, we have another branch. The second branch, we have the third listing. Of course, you have head and tail for each branch. So we have head, tail. On the other side, we have also head, tail, head, tail. So let us now list all the outcomes. So we have typal head H, we have HHT, HTH, and HTT. So also we have tail, head, tail, and tail. Okay. So we have listed all the possible outcomes. We have 8 possible outcomes in our experiment, that is tossing a coin thrice. Okay, very good. So are you familiar with this strategy? I hope so that you are familiar with this strategy. So let us now define a random variable. Suppose a random variable is x. So let us represent this with the number of heads, or we have h. So all you have to do is to count the letter h in the given outcome. So here, I have here a table. In the first row, we have possible outcomes. Then we are going to assign the value for this random variable x. So for the first, we have head, all heads. So how many heads do we have? There are 3. So all you have to do is to count the number of heads. We have h. So that is very good. That is 3. Another, we have for the second, we have head, tail. Yes, that is 2. And for the next one, we have head, tail, head. Okay, another 2. So all you have to do is just to count the number of letter H in a given outcome. So as you can see, we have now the values. So can you enumerate the values in this table for our random variable? Yes, Eugene. Okay, very good. So we have how many values for the random variable? There are 3 or 4. Yes, that is 4. Because we have 0, 1, 2, and 3. There are 4 possible values for our random variable x. That represents the number of heads. So the values are 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so for me to assess if you really understood the process on finding the values of the random variable, let me ask you some questions. The first question is, what strategy did we use to list all the possible outcomes of the experiment? Yes, Alfred. Okay, that strategy is making a tree diagram. The second question, how do you get the possible values of the random variable? Okay, anyone? Very good. Okay, so let me call on Erica. Yes, that is counting the number of heads in each outcome. Okay, so another question, what are the other terms that can be associated with the word random? Okay, very good. So uncertain, it could be unpredictable or unarranged or unplanned. How can we apply the concept of random variables in real life? Yes, we could apply it in any situation that involves making decisions. Okay, let us now apply what you have learned on finding the values of the random variables. So let us have an application activity. So I am going to show you the activity. First, you have the title Catch the Fish. Okay, this Catch the Fish could be answered in the link that is provided, that is bit.ly/start.task. So you are going to do the task by group based on the given situation. So you simply complete the table provided in the Google Sheet. So you are given this task because you will be answering this in group. So first, let us have the situation. So Pedro decides to clean his aquarium. He has 3 male goldfishes and 2 female goldfishes. He gets 2 goldfishes from the aquarium at the first catch. The task that you are going to perform first is to answer the question, what are the possible outcomes of getting 2 goldfishes at the first catch? Then you are going to define the random variable M as the male goldfish and F be the female goldfish. So you are going to find the possible values of the random variable M. So if you are going to go to this link, so you are directed to a Google Sheet. Okay, so here you have here the situation, the task, and the steps that you are going to do. So in your group, you are going to make a tree diagram, and then you list the possible outcomes, then determine the values of these possible outcomes. Then after you are done with these steps, you are going to complete the given table. So each member of the group will be answering. So one student will answer on the second column, but first you have to write the name of the member in the first column. Then write the value of the random variable M. So after answering this activity as a group, we are going to answer a question or a Google form or a Google quiz individually. So here, we are going to answer the activity, catch the fish in this Google form. So again, there's a situation, then you're going to answer the questions that is in the Google form and submit that so that I can know who among you have answered correctly the questions provided in the activity. So I think you are done answering with the activity per group. Let us now look at your answers in the Google quiz. So let's start with the first group. Okay, so the activity is catch the fish. So let us see the responses, their answers. So We have 4 responses for the first group. Okay, because there are 4 members in the group. So we have here 4 responses. Okay, we have scored the 10 points. So as you can see here in our graph, the first question, what are the possible outcomes of random variable m getting 2 goldfish at first catch? So most of you answered correctly. Okay, so we have here the correct answers. You have MF, FF, MM, and FF. FM. So everybody in the group have answered the question correctly. For question number 2, everybody got it right. So the values of the random variable m is 0, 1, 2. Very good for group number 1 for the activity catch the fish. Okay, this time after answering the activities, so we are now on our quiz. So you are going to log in your Gmail account and answer a quiz in the Google Form link. So that is bit.ly/random-quiz01. So here, this assessment is exploring random variables. Do not forget to write to indicate your name. Direction is you read the situation below and answer the following question. So this is the problem. A shipment of 5 computers contains 2 that are slightly defective. The retailer receives 3 of these computers at random. Let D be the defective computers and N be the non-defective computers. Suppose that the random variable X represents the number of defective computers that the retailer received. So this you have here the questions. So all you have to do is to select the correct answer for the given questions and you have to submit your answers. Okay? So the total points for this quiz is 10 points. I think you are already done with the quiz. Let us see your responses or your answers to the questions. So I have here 14 responses or 14 answers. By the way, in this quiz, you can answer more than once. Okay? The best answers or the best score that you can get from this quiz will determine your final score for this quiz. So I have here 14 responses for question number 1. How many possible outcomes are there for random variable x? So here we are talking about the number of defective computers that the retailer received. Okay, so our choices, we have 4, 5, 7, and 8. So the correct answer is 7 possible outcomes. So out of the 14 responses or 14 students who have answered, 11 out of 14 got it right. Okay, so that is 78.6% of you have answered it correctly. Then, next question, select all possible outcomes based on the condition present in the problem. You may choose more than one answer. What are these outcomes? So here, everybody, most of you got it right. So 2 of you, that means 12 of you have answered the items correctly. So the defective, the outcome that is DDD or 3 defective computers is not included because there are only 2 defective computers present in the problem, and it is impossible to get 3 defective computers provided that in the problem there are only 2 defective computers. So all options are correct except for this one, that is DDD. As a whole, you have most of you have answered the questions correctly. So congratulations for having answered this quiz satisfactorily. So for your assignment, this is an activity called drawing balls from the urn. So you are given the problem on this link bit.ly/stat-random. You can open this link and answer it online, or you can also answer this in a piece of paper. You take a picture of your completed table for the possible values of the given random variable. Okay, that's all for today, and thank you, class.